sign-stealing scheme at the University of Michigan. Plenty of you voiced your opinions on social, so let's see what some of you had to say. We'll start on YouTube. Mark Henry says, Jake Butt, if this was Ohio State, you'd be chirping a much different tune. Just stop. Thoughts?
Okay, first thoughts are, that's just not true. Like, I like to think of myself as a reasonable dude. The whole tattoo scandal, the punishments for that made no sense to me at all. Like, that I like to think I'm reasonable, and that applies for anything. People think that I'm saying Michigan did no wrong here. It's not what I'm saying. It's not what I'm saying. If you broke a rule, there should be consequence. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But I'm also saying some of you on Twitter are providing video evidence that is not part of the investigation at all. Coaches communicating on the sideline is not illegal.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think anybody acting like that's a smoking gun, even if it was the first drive of the game, those could have been taken off a TV copy. Like, I'm there with you. But the evidence certainly is pointing to something that optically looks much worse. I want to get to a different comment on Instagram. Cade says it's pretty clear the anti-Michigan bias is stronger than the opposite side. They don't want to see Harbaugh or Michigan have success. What are your thoughts on that?
So these two comments paint the whole picture here. You have motivations on two different sides that prevent us from seeing this with clear eyes. Clearly, there's people that don't like Michigan, and they cannot wait to hear more news on this. Then you have Michigan fans that are maybe not fully acknowledging what this means. It is just... My thoughts on this are we have more information that needs to come out, and it's coming out every day. So, like, we don't have to wait long. New things are coming out, but right now we have a lot of emotion coming from both sides, and I'm somewhere in between the two.
Yeah, what's interesting to me, though, when you start to break down the pieces that we do have, right, like they found tickets in Stallion's names and they saw that he used his credit card in his own name to pay for them. There were people who allegedly sat in those seats and they appeared to be filming something, and that is getting sent into the NCAA. And of course, they had a very coordinated effort on the sidelines. When I read the rule about using video, right, it says attempts to take video, right? It doesn't say successfully takes a video and sends it back. It says attempts. It looks like there were attempts made to take certain video of the sideline in person. No scouting, doesn't say who, right? Doesn't specifically say coaches, staffers. It says that you cannot scout in person. Seems to me that they sent people to do that. I think that's how people are getting here. But the last one we'll get to, and this is on Twitter. I'm not calling it X. My point says, if you know what the other team is doing before they do it because you obtain the information via illegal means, that's some of the worst type of cheating, and it's weak. Stop trying to downplay it.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so that is the entire point of practice throughout the week. Your whole week is to try to figure out what the other team is doing.
Via illegal means?
As a principle, you are trying to figure out what the other team is doing.
By
and
what
honestly,
means?
what legal means? There's legal means and illegal means, okay? And sure, this is the whole point in this. There's a line that clearly says illegal versus legal. But as a principle, the point of scouting and practice is to figure out what the other team is doing. To say hey, listen, when the safety's in or the corner's in press and the safety starts creeping over, that's a corner blitz.
Yep.
Oh, is that illegal? Because I know exactly what the other team is doing? No.
But they share that information. They share the tape.
Let me say one thing here, because this is what's getting me, because it's like competitive balance. And like, listen, we hear things on Twitter that certainly don't look good, and I want to hear more things come out. Competitive balance and circumstantial evidence. I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to call out any individuals specifically. For the past 2 decades, there's been speculation that some schools across the landscape of college football, and I won't even say any areas, there's been a pay-for-play.
He's talking about the SEC, by the way. He's talking about the schools down south in the SEC.
Pre-NIL, people were getting paid to play. That's circumstantial evidence. We saw cars in the parking lot that looked nicer than the cars in the Denver Broncos parking lot when I played there. I was at the College Football Award Show. I saw Rolexes, custom suits, chains that almost made me go blind, and I'm wearing my dad's hand-me-down suit because I didn't have any money in college. You know what I mean? But that's circumstantial evidence, right? What do you think is more advantageous? To collect all of the best talent in the country on your roster, year over year over year over year, or to have signs that you then have to communicate? When we think about this, please hear me. If you violated a rule, regardless of what you think about the rule, there should be consequences. I will not disagree with that principle. That's coming from a Michigan guy. If you violated a rule, you have to have consequences. But if I have a perfect play call against Ohio State in 2015, Joshua Perry, and we're going to score a touchdown. Joey Bosa comes off the edge and blows it up. That's execution. That's the other piece of this. What frustrates me is I think people are looking at this and saying all of Michigan's success is because of what we're speculating to be true. That's what's getting to me here.
Yeah.